Welcome everyone to another video about Buddhism. Today let's talk about loneliness and how we can face this situation. I'm going to talking about two things. The first one is the loneliness, and the second one is the solitude, which is more reframed version of being alone. First of all, let's talk about loneliness. When we are around people, or when we are living with people, or when we are in relationships with people, normally we feel happy. We feel that we are content, and we can feel joyfulness within ourselves. But when they are not around us, when they leave us sometimes, or when we have to depart from them, normally we feel depressed, sad, and lonely. We feel like no one cares about us. This is what we call the loneliness. If we analyze this emotion of loneliness, we can find that we become happy because of the people around us, because of their reaction, and because of their way of behavior. That was the reason why we became happy. Simply it means that we have given the key of our own happiness to other people. When they leave our life sometimes, when they depart from ourselves, or when they fade away from our life, what happens to us is we become unhappy. We become sad, and even we become depressed. We feel like no one is careful or caring for us. There is no one for me. That is what we are thinking. So how we can deal with this loneliness? Well, that is where we come to the topic of solitude. Supreme Buddha had advised the monks to practice of being solitude. So what is the meaning of solitude? First of all, let's compare the loneliness to the solitude. Then you can take some idea about that. In loneliness, when you are lonely, you are thinking for someone to come to your life and make you happy. That means your happiness depends on the others. But in solitude, you try to find the happiness within yourself. When you find the happiness inside yourself, you don't want to depend on another person. You can find happiness and peace within yourself and by yourself. That is what the practice of solitude gives us. So now when we talk about the loneliness and being alone is two different things. When you're being alone or you're being in solitude, you are still happy by yourself. You do not find the happiness from outer sources, but you find the happiness within yourself. Buddha taught us to look at this loneliness, not as something to be sad, not as something negative, but Buddha taught us to look at this loneliness, something that is beneficial, something that is positive. So how we can use this loneliness, or how we can reframe this loneliness to be positive. Whenever you are being alone, you can think like you have more time for yourself, or you have a bigger freedom for yourself. You can think about yourself, or you can reflect more about yourself. You can practice meditations, or you can think about your health. You can do some self-development techniques, or you can do some practices about the loneliness. You can do whatever you like to improve yourself, and all of these things will make you a better person. When you use that time, that loneliness for good things, you become more positive about that, and you will never feel sad or depressing at all. Let me tell you a little story how Buddha felt lonely at one time. The story happened to the Buddha before he became enlightened, so we call him the Bodhisattva. When he was Bodhisattva, he was practicing this self-modification for 6 years. He gave lots of hardships to this body, and he did some extreme meditations in the jungle. There are 5 monks who were helping the Bodhisattva. After practiced this self-modification meditation for 6 years, he became master that. Finally, he came to the conclusion that he cannot achieve this enlightenment by self-modification or by giving this extreme hardship to his body. So he decided to find the middle way. He went to the village and got some foods to eat. He thought that he needed to have physical energy to do the meditations. But those 5 monks who were helping the Bodhisattva, they expected the enlightenment from the body software and through the self-modification. They confused because they saw that the Bodhisattva was having foods. This thing was not in line with their beliefs, so they left the Bodhisattva. Now our Bodhisattva was all alone in the middle of the jungle. There was no one to help him. There was no one to care about him. No one knew about him. He was all alone. But he didn't think about that loneliness as something depressed or as something negative. He thought that, I have more time for myself. I can do my meditations freely. There was no one to think about me. I must use this time for my self-development. That is what Bodhisattva was thought. That is also the way we should think about the loneliness. If you are having some kind of a loneliness situations in your life, use that valuable time to create a better life for yourself. You should think that you have more time for yourself. You can do your meditations, or you can stick into a daily routine of the self-development. You can learn to cook something new, or you can be with this nature and read a book. You can run a marathon, or you can do workouts. You can do exercises, or you can do whatever you like. These things only can be done when you are all alone. So rather than feeling depressed about the situation you are in, why can't we become more happy about the time that we are spending a lot? Practice this when you are alone. If people comes to your life, just let them come. And if people walks away from your life, just let them walk away. The important thing is that you have to be by yourself. You have to think about yourself, by yourself and for yourself. That is what you have to think, and that is what you have to do in this valuable time. I think you got some idea about the loneliness and the solitude. So practice the solitude and make your life more better. Remember, a tree in the forest, standing tall with grace. Birds come and go, but the tree stays the same. People will come and people will go again and again. Be like a tree standing every day the same. Embrace solitude, not loneliness. Thank you for watching. If you found this video interesting, don't forget to show your support by liking and subscribing for more content like this. Your engagement means a lot to us. Stay tuned for future updates. Once again, thank you for your time and support.